Welcome to The Writer's Dream, a forum where authors are able to talk about how they wrote their books, how they publish their books, and how they market their books. It's also a program designed to give information to people who are interested to see how stories become books. Our guest today is Tom Gahan, and he is the Director of Marketing for First Edition Design Publishing. And the conversation that we're going to have today is probably going to be one of the most important conversations new authors and existing authors will listen to. But let me tell you first about some of Tom's accomplishments. First of all, he is the author of Harmony Bay, which is historical fiction written for young adults, correctly?
Well,
or
it's
anybody.
cataloged for adult and young adult, yes.
It has a historical component about the Revolutionary War, yes?
Yes.
And also, Tom is the 2009 recipient of the Civic Leader of the Year Award for Humanitarian Work, and he is a member of the Long Island Authors Group, of which I am too, and I have to say Long Island Authors Group is really a good organization to belong to. The reason why I say that this conversation is so important is because there's been an evolution in the publishing industry as far as how books are published and certainly how they're marketed. Would you like to comment?
Surely. Oh, thank you, Linda, for that introduction. But
You're welcome.
yes, the marketing, the publishing industry has undergone a tremendous evolution. Most notably, I would say over the last 10 years or so. 8, 10, 12 years ago, to be self-published was really looked down, by a lot of people. It was not well.
Vanity Press.
Vanity Press, Powder Puff Press. It was given a lot of derogatory names. Mm-hmm. That has changed tremendously in the last 6 to 8 years, most specifically. And it's gotten a lot of credibility, and a lot of big-name authors are now self-publishing because they can control the rights to their book. They can control the editing of the, they control they don't find chapters on the cutting room floor, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But the way books are published has changed even more so from the traditional methods of publishing. Two of those areas, first of all, first thing that came along was POD, print on demand, which is the way that works. If you go to Amazon, for example, or Barnes & Noble, any online bookseller, and you click buy and it sends you a book via UPS, that book was not stored in a warehouse somewhere. The moment you pressed buy, it digitally sends a file to a printer, it's printed, packaged, and sent to you. So there's no need for inventory. You don't have to buy 1,000 books as an author. You don't have to have 1,000, 2,000, or 10,000 books printed at one time. So that's a tremendous advantage for especially indie authors who want to break into the market if they're self-published. They don't have to lay out a tremendous amount of money. And it's changed the dynamics of distribution as well, because that book can be available worldwide through these local or regionalized print houses that will get that file and send it to you at your closest location. If you're in the UK, there's a printer in the UK that'll print that book and deliver it. Or if you're in California, there's somebody on the West Coast that'll print that book and deliver it. So it's really become more of a global market for authors, and we're seeing such a tremendous change. There's always been a resistance, I should say, by authors who say, well, my book is in English. Why would I want to have it available in Europe or in Asia? Well, we did a study, and it doesn't take a lot of countries, if you add up the English-speaking, English is a second language in a lot of countries, before you exceed the population of the United States. In India alone, there's 125 million people that speak English. That's about, approaching half the population of the U.S. The next part of the generation of publishing came about with eBooks. That was around 2007. The first e-readers came out, and they were rather primitive at their inception. It was just strictly black and white text. Many e-readers are still that way, but there was no provision for color or for graphics. That evolution from e-readers has even now gone into things like tablets and iPads and whatever device. That's something people don't realize in many cases. Is they say, oh, I don't have a Kindle, or I don't have a Nook. Any device that displays a digital image, whether it be a laptop, a desktop, a smartphone, they all work as e-readers, and people sometimes don't understand that.
Well, let me take it from this point of view. Suppose I just finish writing my book, and I want to get it published, which is what people usually want to do. There's 3 ways I can do it. I can try to get an agent. Going to a traditional publisher today, I've been told that it's almost impossible without an agent, okay? Unless you're a very famous person. Okay, or I can go to a company that does print on demand, okay? And print on demand just simply means that if I order 100 books that I want to sell at a crafts fair somewhere, they'll print those for me. And then there's eBook. Would that be
That's pretty
accurate?
fair, and you're correct. The industry has changed. Many publishers, I work with publishers all over the world. We have clients from Maine to Hawaii, on several continents. And the traditional publishing industry is imploding, mainly because of the economy in many ways. But the way that authors can go about getting their books published, again, as you mentioned, has changed. Those traditional methods really aren't the case. And as you said, unless you're a Donald Trump or right now a Barack Obama or Mitt Romney, chances of you getting instantly published.
It's also a change in the culture, I think.
Yes.
Our culture, we want things yesterday.
Spontaneously.
Yes, we want, and with the internet, a lot of this is possible, because what you're telling me about distribution basically is because of the internet. I can just send this electronic file to China and have it printed there.
Well, it's statistically, about 40% of people, they shop for the books in a bookstore, whatever books, or in a traditional retail outlet. They shop for the book, but 40% of those people go home and go online and order the book. So how people shop and how people buy have changed because of the internet.
Well, I'm sure you've had the same experience that I've had, where you're at an event or a fair where you're selling your books, and people will ask you, well, is it available on Nook and Kindle? And then when you say yes, they don't buy your book, they go and they order it online.
Yes.
So this is really something that...
Well, e-readers have become, authors, a lot of people kind of turn their nose up at e-readers at first. But when
I was one of them.
when they realize, this is how a lot of people want to read their books. It has been shown that kids are reading more now because of e-readers. They want to read something on their tablet, their iPad, whatever device they have. But the way I look at it is, I don't care what they're reading on, as long as they're reading, and as long as it's quality work that they're reading. How they deliver the written word is irrelevant. The Gutenberg Press went back a long time ago, and it made books available to a lot of people who couldn't afford them before. They were just not possible. And things have evolved since that time, and it's all been about availability to the reader. And e-books, now they're using e-books in Africa, in remote villages where it's just too expensive to buy the textbooks or to ship them there, to print them. So now they're finding it's easy to use e-books to teach.
Well, I think that's all. The future of e-books is also going to be in all the schools.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you've had children go through college and gone through yourself. The price of textbooks is incredibly high, and I can see where a school, university will have to buy a site license, something like a site license like you buy for computer software, and all of the textbooks will be, and won't that be great?
That exists now. I mean, it's, I think 97% of college students own some kind of iPad device, a tablet device.
But can they get their textbooks that way?
Yeah? Oh, yes. It's very popular right now, and increasingly so.
That's great.
And from the environmental standpoint, a lot of people point out that, that saves a lot of trees and a lot of energy that's used to print, and, I could, wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with it as well. Okay, so I'm back to publishing my book with you.
Okay.
What about copyright? What about ISBN number?
What many new authors don't realize is an ISBN number is specific to that product. If they have a soft cover, printed book soft cover, that has one ISBN number. A hardcover book has a different. It's the same way as to describe this, if you went to a bookstore and you picked a soft cover book off the shelf and a hardcover, and you got the audiobook version, you brought them up to the cash register, they'd bring up 3 different individual items. Each one has its own identity, and it goes to marketing a lot and through the internet and how it's tagged. So ebooks as well have their own ISBN number, specific to that product, that format. So as far as digital rights, I know with our company there's something called DRM, Digital Rights Management, and we put encoding into the file, so it's copy protected.
Okay. So every book that gets an ISBN number is pretty much safe.
Well, if it has digital rights management, DRM.
Okay. Now, if I sign up with you, who owns my book?
You do.